go to tea.
Yeah,
No,
no problem. I equally, yeah. Yeah. Plenty of room. Plenty.
So now it's like, ask them.
And welcome to the Waipuna Halswell-Hornby-Riccarton Community Board. And just before we start the meeting, I'd just like us to stand for a minute silence for the passing of Her Majesty the Queen. Quite an appropriate day for it. Thank you. Apologies. And including people who may be making an early departure. So we've got two, and we've got Faye,
Catherine.
we've got Catherine because it's got your name under it. Sorry, Catherine. And we've got Helen as well. Have we got Helen yet?
Helen's not here yet, but she's on her way.
Oh, Helen's not here yet. We'll
Later on.
we'll have an apology for lateness from Helen. Is there anybody wish to put an apology in for early departure? If so, say so now.
well, we might be, depending on what time the meeting.
Okay. So there's no apologies then at this stage.
Was that a possible, Debbie? You,
Possible Debbie for early departure and probably Andre.
This time
Depends what time we're finished.
he's been talking about the apologies more so. Yes, I hope we'll get here.
Okay.
so do you want a apology reported?
Yeah,
Okay.
Possible.
possible.
Declarations of interest. Oh, there was some, yeah, we'll move the apologies anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Seconded by Debbie. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against of any declarations of interest, has anybody got any?
Not Debbie, Debbie, she's an apology.
Oh,
I'll second.
oh,
Thanks, Anne.
sorry,
Thank
Faye.
you. You can't move your, yeah. Okay, and declarations of interest, is there any item on the agenda that many members would like to declare an interest in? If so, say so now or forever hold your peace. No, moving on then to confirmation of the previous minutes of the 6th of September, and thanks very much to staff for doing an excellent report and recording those minutes. Got a mover, Mark Peters, seconded by Andre Moore. Is there any discussion? I'll put the motion then. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against of any, carried. Moving on then to the public forum. And we've got Mike Davis.
We've got two more now.
Oh, we've got two more, have we?
Yeah, well, we've got those other.
Okay.
But concerning.
Okay, so we've got Mike Davis. Yes,
So Kevin might be talking about Tara Street to the, he might be deputation.
Kevin is talking about Tara Street to the report, so he's a deputation rather than a public
I'm
forum.
not sure, is that what you, Kevin?
Kevin, you're here to talk about Tara Street, are you not? So you're here for the deputation. So we'll go to, we'll go to Mike Davis. Welcome, we're in your hands, and you're here to talk about the agro project regarding the sewer infrastructure and impacting on the Challenge service station in 345 Halswell Road.
Yes, correct. So thank you for your time. It's been recommended that I come to this forum to help us with situation we have in the new development that's going in at Challenge Halswell, 345 Halswell Road. I'm the project director for the project and have been working on the project for over 5 years now with the Nicol family, who's a local family, undertaking the project. It's a $9 million redevelopment of the Challenge service station. And we've been working through this process quite onerously up to this point. And we're about 75% of the way through the project now, looking to complete prior to Christmas.
Mhm.
We have had, we understand all the issues that the Halswell area has with stormwater management, and through the consenting process, we were charged with the responsibility of providing storage and attenuation for stormwater discharge, which has cost in excess of $300,000 for us to do that, which we've done. But in more recent times, we've been experiencing a saturated sewer system and causing inundation into our buildings and flooding of our site from when we're having heavy rains into the network through cross connection. And as the photos show, we can see that our gully traps are fully charged. 2 occasions the venting system on the buildings wasn't adequate, and we took water into the building and it flooded our site on 2 occasions. Now, so we understand all of the issues that council have with infrastructure management, and we understand the effect that the earthquakes have had on the infrastructure, and we're okay with all of that. We understand all of that, but we have an opportunity here to potentially mitigate this problem for my particular client, who's just arrived, and we are looking to use this as a conduit or a channel to talk to council openly around how we can provide a mitigation scheme for us. Also trying to understand a bit more globally around what's going on for Halswell and with this issue, because we are, as we say, we're 3/4 of the way through the construction. If we're going to make any changes to our system, we have the ability to do that now. We would rather not finish the project and have the problem continuing, because we are having waste come out of our gully traps.
Okay.
We're also seeing all this water here as treated as contaminated water. We don't necessarily want to be seen as an overland flow path from the stormwater or from the sewer network. So, up to this point, we found it extremely onerous and difficult to get through to the engineering aspects of the council, and hoping that this forum might be able to give us a director channel. We've spent thousands of dollars with consultants trying to work through with the engineers. We're experienced enough to have those conversations with the engineers directly, but they're so reluctant to talk to us because they'd rather go through consultants. So we've raised this as an issue for us. We can't sustain continuing to take the network overload onto our property. We lose all our sewer systems, we lose all of our toilets. That means that we have to then go and bring in portaloos to deal with it during peak times.
Okay.
We would rather work with council to try to find a solution for us particularly, but also try to understand what the broader issues are. Both Graham and I are residents in Halswell, so we have a sort of a understanding what's going on.
Thank you very much, Mike. And it's just, yeah, thanks for bringing that to our attention. And you have been trying to deal with the authorities yourselves to get this sorted, and that's been a very costly exercise.
Yeah, we did that with the stormwater management, and we lost about 6 months of our construction program because as we did that. Again, the client has suffered significant money to do that.
So what I'm hearing is you'd like to have a around the table hui.
Yep, we would welcome that opportunity because we'll get more done that way than just consultants passing just stuff to each other, and they don't even, I shouldn't say they don't answer their call, because we understand they're busy and we understand the resourcing issues, and we get all of that. Just want an open channel, just have a good meaningful conversation around how we can help each other, really.
Right. Thank you. You've got a question, Debbie?
Have you tried contacting the council staff pertaining to this already?
Yeah, so we've lodged two calls into, and there are last two in July, we put 2 calls into City Council. We had a response, we had no response on the first one. On the second rain event, we then got a phone call from City Care, and they were really helpful. They sent a guy out within about 5 hours, and they just said it's a council issue, and then said they were going to contact us again to have that conversation with us around what the council issue was. So we still don't know what the issue is.
And that was when, July?
Yeah, and so we've got 2 reference numbers there that.
Okay,
Yeah. if we-
okay, Andre?
those numbers would be good.
Just go over the last visit you got was from someone in July.
Yes, yep, from City Care. Yep, not from council. Yeah, City Care were great. They did. I mean, we understood at the time that everyone was flooding, and so we understand all that, and we knew that we just had to wait for the dust to settle.
Okay,
And now we're just trying to get a response back from those from references to see if they haven't come back to us yet around asking, you know, is this problem solved?
so what you're doing is you're doing the right thing and coming to us because you've been asking to try and get this sort solved, and it hasn't happened. So anyway, all we can do is to ask staff to actually meet with you
Yep, that's all we're asking. We're not,
and talk about these issues.
we don't want to be disruptive or anything like that. We know there's an opportunity for us to provide some solutions here to fix our problem. We won't fix yours, unfortunately, but we have an option to mitigate the backflow onto our property.
You're already being disrupted, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, so it's we're trying to work amicably with council, but it's just trying to get the channel into them is the key.
Okay,
Yeah.
No, we don't want disruption.
okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming.
Not sure if you have anything to add, Graham.
No.
Well, thanks very much. So,
Did we want board members at the hui or?
well, I think from my understanding is, Andre, you've been sort of working with them on that, haven't you?
Yes, I was contacted last week, went out for a yarn and encouraged to come here
Yep,
and just
okay.
see where we got with that.
No, good as gold. Well, we'll just see where that goes.
Mhm.
So,
But yeah, obviously
We're-
and I'm
we're-
sure that, or if I'm not here in a
just
few weeks.
what are you saying, Faye?
So the board will request the staff meet with the owners of 345 Hallswell Road to discuss network overload concerns.
Including Brooks, Andre and Debbie?
Yeah, we're inviting whoever the board members are at the time along, I think.
Correct.
Well,
yes.
well, it might
To meet
happen-
with
it
board
might happen
members
before-
and staff and the affected.
Well, it
So I
might-
just don't want to bring up something I'm going to bring up later on, but we've tried this before and staff have told us to. But anyway, hopefully, that won't happen in this particular case.
Yeah.
So what have you got the FA? Did you say to meet with the?
Request that staff
Yes.
meet with the owners of 345 Hallswell Road and board members to discuss.
And the developer.
Yeah,
That's the owner. The owner is the
No,
developer.
the owners request.
Yeah.
I'm the project director.
Oh, and the project.
that's,
developer,
no,
okay.
that's all good.
Well, they're the owners request.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay, great.
Well, thank you very, yep,
Yeah, just to discuss network overload concerns.
we thank you very much, and I think it is a very important issue that you brought to our board.
Absolutely.
It's a public health issue, so we see that as
Thank
pretty
you very
serious.
much.
Health and
indeed.
safety, yeah, can we head that up as
Okay.
urgent?
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank
Can we
you.
Head that up as urgent because it is health and safety.
Yeah, we'll make sure that happens. Yeah, okay, we've got nods there. Okay, so who else have we got there?
Urgent.
Urgent,
Because of-
ASAP because of health issues.
Sewage, because of the sewage.
Okay, so we've got any deputations. Have we got on that sheet you've got there, have we got another public forum there, Faye? Sorry.
Well, it's easy to call it, I think it's-
No, Gavin's a deputation.
I think so, yes.
So there are no more public forums? Okay, so then we've got the deputations by appointment, and I'd like to welcome Gavin Marriott.
Well, we've got Jono. Is Jono,
Is Jono here as well?
he was going to Zoom in,
Not here yet.
not here.
No, okay,
So it's okay,
we're in your
Gavin
hands, we're in your hands, Gavin, and you want to talk to us about
Tara Street and
Tara Street
and
or
Crescent.
Shen Crescent. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah, it's for those that don't know, it's where the water fountain is, that park there. We're talking about the road that's Crescent around the back there. Regulatory responses aren't going to be the solution, because
No.
if you put a yellow line there, that's great. The parking warden can come around and give a ticket, but the type of traffic you've got there, particularly the students, are going to come and go and come and go. And if you put yellow lines there, it's regulatory, but it's not solving the issue. And the problem that we have is that they'll park on the berm. Oh, great, they'll get a ticket for that. So here we are, where we might as well have someone stand there with a whip. It's really not achieving what we want to do. The problem that's going to come about with the students in Tara Street is if there's any situation where, at the moment, common sense prevails, but if there's a situation where they get shifted to park, they're going to be parking outside our houses in Shan Crescent. And some of these cars are old, uninsured. They're going to get broken into, stolen, burnt. We have massive drug problems in the area as it is with visiting cars. The problem that we are having is the behaviour of the motorists in the area, not regulating ones that are staying for a long period of time. So we have a situation where there was a speed pattern tube put down a few weeks ago that was outside my house, but it didn't catch the people from Tara Street coming in.
Yep.
And so we are getting traffic that's too high. My suggestion is I would rather see the 2 speed humps put in to moderate the behaviour of the traffic that's coming into the area. And it would need 2. It would need one down past my place, number 12, and it would need another one on the other side of Tara.
So we got the overhead of what's on our agenda, because it's got the little map,
Yep.
the attachment. So if we
But
can pull that up,
it's got a map there. I presumed you're going to have one. I can.
we'll see it when we get to but we're receiving your deputation now.
Yep.
And then we'll get to talk about that. But if we could have that up now while you're speaking, it would probably be quite helpful.
Yeah.
Point of clarification, Gavin said outside my place at number 12, is that Shan Crescent?
12 Shane Crescent.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which may sound a separate street, but because being it's an L shape there, it is, it's coming up now. Can I point?
Yeah, that's the one.
Please do.
So my house is just back down here, which in a straight line is only about 30 metres to here. So the proposal was to put there, if there were to be yellow lines, it would probably be to the other side. But the problem is that is regulatory approach. If you're going to put yellow lines there, you're going to have to put bollard posts to stop them parking on the berm, because you can say it's regulatory, but by the time the traffic warden, someone's got to report them, by the time they come down here, these people are transient, they come and go. So further up here, if you're able to move that down a bit, and they can't, you will see that. Oh, okay, yeah. On and just down here on the yellow lines, they've got bollards to do both. So if you're going to put yellow lines, you're going to have bollards matching it to shift the behaviour. So the problem is the traffic behaviour. My suggestion is a speed hump there, and then one up where the the footpath is in a straight line into the park. And so we're getting traffic speeding down here. Now, along here, 35K is far too fast. We've got a special needs family, mental families here. We've got children and dogs playing in the park here quite often. And because you can't park on that side, they'll run across the road. And we see that quite often. And the speed that cars come flying down here into the cul-de-sac, do their drug deals and other things, and back out again. And
Okay.
And so that's the issue.
Thank you very much, Gavin. Yep. A question quickly, Deb.
Yes, just quickly, where do they park now?
Alan's got a hand up as well. Okay.
Where do they park now?
At the moment, they are parking with common sense. They're mostly parking on one side of the road anyway.
Right.
Occasionally, there has been cars parked there and there, and they often park on the berms because it is very narrow. There is room for 2 cars there, but not someone to drive down the middle. And the fire brigade have said they can operate from here if they have to, but it's a shortcut here, of course. But at the moment, they park wherever they can, but it's transient parking.
Yeah, right.
They don't park all day long and all night. So if for those that park all night long, they're going to start parking along here, and I'm not going to be, and our residents along here aren't going to be responsible for looking after their cars, which are mostly uninsured, old, and they
So
go,
what you're saying is you can cope without those yellow lines?
yeah,
Thank you.
mostly, yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much, Kevin. So moving on then to, sorry, oh, a question from Helen. Sorry, Kevin. Sorry, Kevin. Yeah. Helen, you got a question? Helen, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Totra Street or Shan Crescent?
Helen, put your ears on.
Sorry, I wasn't quite clear, Mr.
No.
Sorry,
Gavin,
if you're not in the room. I'm sorry I'm not in the room. Was it Shan Crescent or Totra Street?
Tara.
Tara.
Okay, no, that's fine. No. That's
Okay,
fine.
so what's your question, Helen?
Oh, well, no, it was more if it had been Totra Street.
No, no.
So are we able to move to the item now?
Yes,
Thank you, Kevin.
Is there a,
yeah, we can, with the will of the meeting, we can go to, jump to item 9 now.
is there a do nothing option?
So you got councillor.
Is there a do nothing option?
We'll go to, if it's a will of the meeting to go to clause 9 now, are we happy to move to clause 9 now? Yes, we're happy to. Gautam, would you like to come and join us because it's your report? Okay. Gautam's our traffic engineer. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone.
Okay.
So as per item 9, the report is to request the board's approval for no stopping restrictions at the Totara Street, Konini Street intersection.
Yes.
So as we are aware, we have curb extensions in all the 4 legs of
Tara Street.
Tara Street.
oh Tara. I'm sorry, apologies.
Clause 9.
Apologies.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
So Tara Street, yes. This report is to request approval from the board for no stopping restrictions on the western side of Tara Street.
Yes.
So we received feedback from a resident that there were instances of vehicles parked on both sides, which made it very difficult for vehicles to pass through. So as per the suburban parking policy, Christchurch suburban parking policy, no stopping restrictions are recommended on one side or on alternate sides if the road width is less than 7 meters wide. Tara Street is from site visits, it was confirmed that's around just over 6 meters wide. So we've based on the parking demand at that location.
We're aware of that, but did you hear the deputation?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
I was just briefing the report.
No.
But yeah.
All read the report.
Yeah. So I did send out letters and I did meet Mr. Gavin on site at that time. He did mention his concerns. So from our end, as indicated in the report, we put out signs in Shan Crescent and also Tara Street for indicating no parking off-road. So we have done that in Preston's earlier, so had a positive impact. So we have put that up to indicate to people that it's not allowed to park off-road. And also we were aware that if we have no stopping lines on Tara Street, it could move parked vehicles onto Shan Crescent. So we arranged to paint parking ticks across 1 meter away from all access ways so that vehicles know where to park and they do not cross over and park across the driveways in Shan Crescent. So we have done that to prohibit any sort of illegal parking activity.
Okay.
So you've done the ticks
Yes.
on Shand?
Yes, Shand.
Okay.
Yes, we did think in that angle as well, like, the parking would flow on to Shan Crescent. That's why we sent out consultation letters to both residents of Tara Street and Shan Crescent. And one of the residents did point out, like, is it possible to do that? And we were like, happily, we were ready to do that and arrangements have been made. Yes.
Okay. So you heard from the deputation about speed humps.
Yes.
What consideration could you give speed humps in relation to this report that's before us now, even though this is only about yellow lines?
Yeah. Well, as I did discuss with Gavin on site earlier, and we arranged to have speed surveys done along Shan Crescent, but the results Apologies, I can't give the exact numbers now, but the results are online. And based on the results, we have many vehicles like traveling in their 30s across that location. But yes, as we are aware, like we are programming slow speed neighborhoods in many residential neighborhoods in the city. So every residential neighborhood is part of the program, but I'm not sure which year this comes under, but I can certainly check and report.
Okay. That's all good then. Yep, Andre?
I'm just wondering what conversations have happened with the households containing a number of cars that may have been causing issues. Have there been, conversations with them and other residents in the street or with council staff?
Well,
that you're aware of, and I'm just sort of wondering how they went. And
well, actually, as I said, like the feedback first came from a resident of Tara Street,
yeah.
and I understand they were from a flat living in Tara Street. And also, when we sent out letters, we did receive feedback from a resident of Tara Street, and they were happy with that as well. So, we didn't receive any negative feedback with the consultation that they are losing parking or anything. A few properties do have appear to have multiple car parking spots inside the property. So yeah. I think the impact.
Okay. So there's been letterbox drop, but there's been no particular conversations that you're aware of with the places that are causing the problems.
Yeah. We didn't receive any negative feedback. Yes.
Okay. Debbie, quickly.
Yes, I just usually on a report we have an option to do nothing.
Yes,
there is.
Yeah.
Is there?
Yeah.
Which one?
It's in there. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at what was up there. Okay, so there is.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm just, am I allowed to make a statement rather than a question?
Really, it's a question.
Okay, I'll make a statement.
Okay, is there any more questions of Gavin? If not of Gavin, of Gautham? No, thank you very much then, Gautham. Thank you. And the report's in front of us now. We've seen the report, we've heard the deputation. And have I got a mover?
No.
No?
No.
Nobody wants to move that? The motion lapses in for the want of a mover.
All right, thanks.
Okay. Thank you. Righto, now moving back to the presentation of petitions. There are none. Moving on then to Waterloo Road improvements, and welcome to Gemma.
Gemma's zooming in.
Sorry?
Gemma's zooming in.
There you go. She's
Oh, is he zooming in? Okay, thank you. And Karen, Karen, would you like to introduce yourself, Karen?
Kia ora. Well, Kieran Skelton, Whakawingawa. I'm part of the engagement team.
Yes.
As their engagement advisor for this consultation. I'm kind of co-engaging with Hannah Ballantyne.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yep. No, we understand. Yep.
There's a.
So it's a very exciting project for us, and
yes.
We've all read the report, and I've been talking to schools as well. In fact, today, they weren't aware that it was on the agenda for this meeting today. So anyway, they are now. So they're very happy with it.
Okay.
Okay. So, and do you want Karen to go through the report, or we've all read the report? Jimmy,
yeah.
You've got a question? Go ahead,
Okay,
brother.
Regarding to some issue raised, from submitters on page 24. I'm not sure, maybe ask the community board. They particular concern the install lights where the proposed refuge island is being installed. Then staff response recommend making a submission in the long-term plan to bring this issue.
Yeah, but there is lights. And Karen can answer it, but there is lights included in this.
Yes.
There are lights there, aren't there?
Oh,
long-term plan, no budget, am I right? No budget, how to make that happen?
Sorry, do you mean, just to clarify, you mean there are lights to be installed as part of this plan, or?
Well, there are existing lights there now.
Yeah, there are. Yeah.
And my understanding that is Jimmy's asking the question about another set of lights further east along Waterloo Road.
Yeah, that's right.
So that, but when you get that at a school, you know, get out of school time, you'll have the lights that the kids will be there, press the buttons all the time, and no other traffic will be able to get up and down the road virtually. But the way it is at present, of course, you just come west of it. But anyway, that's all in the report. So, Jimmy, have you got an answer to your question? Because I
That's the lost. There should be the two traffic light. Am I right? One is in under this program. The other one is outside this program.
That's right.
So the outside this program, whether how to mitigate this one.
But it is in the report that it's going to be, you know, they're going to trial it as well for a period of time.
Yeah.
Because there's also in the report it mentions permanent speed reductions in that area as well.
Okay.
So that's all to be looked at, as well as the 3-minute, you know, pick up and drop off. So that's all going to be reviewed as well. So I think what they're doing is trying to do their best now while they're doing the road works. And then if there's any further adjustments to be made, that will be factored into it along the line.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Second question is
Right, I'll let you answer this one.
Yeah, not in this program because the submit particular concern are the speed bumps, you know, need to be installed along the Gilbert South because quite a few of the trucks might turn left, you know, along this high to the common road, etc. So the staff mentioned will refer this to the traffic engineer for consideration. So I just want to know what's the time frame when will be referral to the traffic engineer. Time frame.
The other two out of me and Gemma, I think is Gemma on the call? Because Gemma will probably be.
Gemma, would you like to answer that one, Gemma?
On page 25, yes, speed bumps.
Page 25 about the speed bumps?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're installing speed bumps as part of this project in advance of the crossings. Now.
Already?
Yes.
Okay, but if already, but why on this attachment you mentioned not yet?
That came out of the consultation. But when you have a look at what's here now, they have got speed bumps just either side of the crossings.
Okay, if no other question, I would like to move.
Okay. Okay, moved by Jimmy, seconded by Mark. Is there any discussion then? I'll put the motion in. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against Divitti, carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on then to no stopping restrictions, clause 8, no stopping restrictions in Tokra Street, Kanini Street intersection. Welcome back, Gautam.
You haven't got a hand up?
Not yet.
No, right, we're in your hands. Everybody's read the report.
It does now.
Yep, we understand what's in it. Is there any questions? Helen, you got a question?
Needs to unmute. Helen, you need to unmute yourself.
Helen, turn your ears on.
Right, there you are.
There we are.
Sorry, I'm not there. I was intending to come, but I'm not quite well enough. I've looked at this and I'm a bit confused. We had a petition, which wasn't a petition, of 11 people looking at parking restrictions in April. We didn't hear anything, and they chased me up in August, and it was chased up by myself through Matt to you. Now, this appears to come in from not those group of 11, but sort of another person. So can you explain to me what you're doing with the first request of 11 people for parking restrictions, or actually a study?
Just check with Faye, because has Gautam seen the email that you sent through to Faye, to Helen this afternoon?
I'll respond.
Okay, go for it.
So we've spoken to Gautam about this. So the report on the agenda for tonight's meeting has been written in response to a request from a resident. So a resident has asked this, they've expressed concerns, and as a result, we've responded. Now, there has been another request that's come in. So on the 12th of April, at Elected Members Information Exchange, parking was raised in Totara Street. The following meeting, a month later, the 3rd of May, the board received correspondence from 2 residents in relation to some of the parking questions. And as part of that correspondence, the letters referred to a resident survey which had taken place. I think there were 6 responses to that resident survey. So we've had 2 things raised. We've had the request which has come from tonight. We've had another request which has come in through a different method. Both things have been taken into consideration. Both things join up. Both things are being done together. However, the report that you see before you tonight is responding to the first one and not the second request that we've had through. The date for the second request to come through, the one that the board received correspondence from, we believe we were looking for, we thought the target date was going to be around about the 2nd of August. So we thought we would have brought it back to you already, but due to other competing demands, other things that have come up, due to the fact that staff have been off with COVID and people have been pulled all over the place, Gautam hasn't got around to that at the moment. But having had a conversation with him, he's well aware of both requests, considering both at the same time. But this one is before you in a minute. The next one will come before the community board at some point in the future. Does that answer the question, Helen?
It does, but can I ask, does doing this affect any parking restrictions? So if we decide in the future to put in parking restrictions, does what we're doing here today affect that or not?
I can answer that. Thanks, Helen, and thanks, Matt. No, Helen, that is a separate one. And just to add a small comment to what Matt said, yes, we are treating all the requests equally. And this request, yes, it was due to the workload. It has taken some time, but not that the other part, the request has not been touched at all. Me along with another traffic engineer, we have visited the site. We have done some readings, and we are looking at some treatments which we can do there. Yes, we are considering both. It's just that this also, for the record, it came in a bit earlier as well than the other one. So yes, this is what I'm bringing to the board now. But yes, we are already working on that, and we'll notify the board as soon as the work is completed in that regard.
You haven't quite answered the question.
It's not going to affect any. This one is not going to affect the other one in any way.
The other one, and. Are you saying that the one you've done today came in first prior to April?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All good. Thank you. Okay, we've got a mover.
I'll move it.
Second by Mark Peters. Any discussion? Gamal?
Yes.
Oh, you're in favour?
Yes.
Okay.
Just wanted to second.
Say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you very much. Now, while we've got you captured at the end of the table, we would like to look at Little Gem. Heavy vehicle restrictions on Little Gem Road. Everybody's read the report. Makes a lot of sense to me. I can see the temptation for heavy vehicle running down there to the world famous Owaka pit and Parks. Also, I'm happy to move it. Seconded by Mark Peters. Any discussion? I put the motion. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, if any, carried. Thank you. Moving on then to the Rickenbush Kilmarnock Residents Association boundary extension, and welcome Bailey.
It's quite straightforward. The Residents Association are already have membership from the areas they would like to extend to, so they're just coming to us to formalise their boundary.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Great.
Okay, thank you very much.
Only one question.
One question, Jimmy.
My question is, if enlarge this boundary, how many households will be increased? And also those households, if they have concern some issue, local issue, whether they make the petition to Fenderton, Waimari, Hellwood Community Board, or still make a deputation to the Riccarton, Halswell and the Hornby Community Board.
I don't know the number of houses. But I do know that they already have membership from those houses with their residents.
But it's outside our ward.
So currently it's in our boundary, but after when the new wards come into effect, some of it will sit outside our boundary. So through our the work that we're doing to hand over everything that is out, this will be included, and we have given the staff over there. So it'll be both.
Even they don't, consider we allocate funding, small amount of funding, still need to consider the split the portion.
Yeah, and we'll just do that like we do all of the groups. That's
okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we'll move that.
You're moving it. Debbie, seconded by Jimmy.
Okay, thank you.
I want to speak. May I speak, please?
Yes, you can. It's been moved and seconded, but, yeah. Yes, you can speak to it.
Can I say that this particular association is close to where I am? It's growing, and oddly enough, it's growing because of intensification. So they're really
conflict of interest, Helen.
Is it a question?
It's sort of a statement. So basically, they have been the ones, like, commend Tony Simmons. He's been the one who's organised 17 residents groups in opposition to the proposals. So it's now a very flourishing group, but it tends to only be in sort of active mode when in fact there's a threat. So it's growing from about 100 members to 150 members. So that's good.
Yep, no, good as gold. Thanks, Helen. Okay, so there's no further discussion?
No.
Well, then I'll put the motion in. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, if any? Carried.
Okay.
Moving on then now to clause 12. Well, we've got Bailey at the table and Marie and Sam. We've got the trifecta. So there's some funding applications here for the Canterbury Muslim community, Riwiali, and the Chinese school and the Riccarton Leagues Club.
Yeah.
So everybody's read the report.
Yes.
And you can see the logic and recommendations.
Okay.
And is there any questions of staff? Questions from Andre?
Just a thought now. And these funding applications gone past over the last couple of years. There's been a few examples of us providing almost all of what was asked from some more well-off clubs for what was in many cases player development and so on and so forth. And in this case, this is necessary maintenance of one of our local club rooms, but we're only able to give them, just over a third of what they're asking for. I'm just concerned at that prospect, I guess.
Yeah.
Just
so
any comment?
Along with the Fendleton Waimarehiwa contribution, it takes it to 12,000, which is around kind of like half of what they're asking for, and it sort of sits around about with that total, similar to what we've kind of given in the past for like maintenance and like larger projects like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that answers your question, Andre. Any further questions? Jimmy?
I'm not sure. The first applicant regarding the kids after the school program.
Just take your hand down from your mouth, Jimmy.
Yeah. But actually, there's about 2 programs, am I right?
Yeah, a holiday.
But they request is 83,200. But we're going to funding for 6,000. 6,000 is focused on after school program or is a split to the holiday program subsidized as well.
Both.
Which one?
So we haven't said what they would have to spend it on. It's obviously far less than what they've asked.
So flexible.
So they will have to most likely adapt what they look to deliver anyway, but we've left that for them to decide what they would spend the money on either of the programs.
Okay, thank you. Second question regarding the Riwiali, the school. I'm not sure regarding to we going to funding for 12,000 and Fendleton by Mary, there's a 3,000. We based on what kind of criteria? It's a number of students or it's locations or it's what kind of criteria?
So you're
Yes.
talking about when they've put the application in the past, Rebielli have been funded as a metropolitan organisation.
Oh, yes.
So
yes.
when they put in their application and
Okay,
indicate
okay.
where their students that are enrolled come from,
Yes.
it has gone across more than 3 community board areas. This time, the majority of it is within a combination of this board area and Pendleton Waimari, with the most in this one. So that has determined why it's come to the board here.
Okay.
So that the numbers are part of it. Also having a look at what they're applying for.
Yes. Okay.
And so with the Pendleton Waimari decided last week, I think, on $3,000.
Okay.
So with the board's, the recommendation from the board, that gives them 15,000 out of a request of 20,000.
Okay, thank you again.
Good.
Okay, yeah, no other question. I'd like to move.
You're moving
Yeah,
the
yeah.
reports?
All 3
All of them?
Yeah.
We've got a seconder?
Yes.
Anne Galloway. Sorry, was Anne Galloway. Discussion, I'll put the motion in. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Against, if any, carried. Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you.
And moving on then to the Waipuna Halswell-Hornby-Riccarton Board Area Report for September. Matthew. Everybody's read the report. Quite a lot of information in there. And I'm reasonably comfortable with it, to be a surprise, Matthew.
No surprise.
Receive it.
I'm quite happy to move that we receive it.
I'll second.
Seconded by Debbie.
I have a question. Is it okay?
Question?
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah. Who do I ask? Matt?
Matthew.
Okay, Matt. Just in terms of the development, the leadership development that's here, how do you see that? How does that work out? You know, what do you see the impact of that training
In terms of how the staff are going to work with groups?
Yes. Yeah.
So good question. So we are currently going through a process of holding community hui with community groups in Halswell and then in Hornby. I think Hornby's next week, is that right? And then we've got Riccarton coming up. We're working with some of the key groups that we funded in those different areas to say, what's your vision for the community? How do you see things growing? How can we come in to support you? Where can we build your capacity or capability? So those conversations are taking place at the moment. We're then going to share that wider with groups in those areas, because we don't want it limited to just a few, and to kind of sense check it and make sure that makes sense. So we've got another set of workshops coming up. That will all feed its way back into the new iteration of the community board and whoever's sitting around the table, and we'll come back and say we've spoken to Halswell and Hornby and Riccarton, and here's what their vision is, and this is how we feel that we can best support them to achieve what they want to achieve. And from that's where we see that we'll start to put in some of that capacity and capability building and some of that leadership development. So we've got a series of workshops.
Yeah.
Can I follow
Sounds
on?
great.
Have you got anything
No,
further?
I'm fine. Thank you.
Just following on from what you've said there, Matt, because I mean, I hear of different community groups wanting to do things. So how do we put them onto your radar for that?
We possibly already know. So if you let us know who the groups are.
I think Bailey, I think you were aware of one where they wanted to do a Halswell Fun Day. Is that on that group? Do you know? Are they involved?
They'll become, can I say? They'll come to that second iteration. So because we haven't funded them, they're not currently doing stuff, but they'll become a part of that.
Oh yeah, I just thought it would be quite helpful for the fee, to initiate what they want done.
Absolutely. So that's the plan. So the idea isn't just to work with people we've always worked with. The idea is to work with, but that's where we can start the conversation, and that's where we can start saying, well, what do you have a heart for? What's your vision for? And then we want to take that wider and say, here's where we think we're headed. And this is, and it goes on from there.
Okay, all good with that?
Oh, sorry, you go on.
If mine's a separate question, so if it's a follow-on.
No, it's not. It's a different thing. You go for it.
Mine's about Night Stream School.
Yep.
Consultation in October. I'm just checking if that will include the people in the direct area around where we're talking about on Wincops Road.
Yes, it does, doesn't it?
I believe so.
Yes.
Yeah. I've not seen a list of where Halswell's going to.
Cool, yeah,
But I
yeah.
believe so.
That's my understanding.
It'd be great to check just how far that will be a letterbox drop, just for my information.
I think it was in the memo that was sent.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
I'm just looking now.
Can't see exactly.
Yeah, night streams called area improvements. It's mentioned in there, I'm pretty sure, Andre.
Can't see where it would be a letterbox drop, but we can come back to that, of course,
Okay.
another time. But just of interest.
You want to ask that question, I'll let the members information exchange.
I mean, we'll come back and clarify.
Yeah.
So it's only talking about the engagement team and saying, where are you planning to go?
Yeah.
So
Okay, Anne?
nice. Oh, sorry. Nice segue into and my question. The Hiratini Student Council and their safety videos. What are they going to do with those once they've made them? How are they going to be used?
Come on, Sam.
So it's going to be shared around probably all of their schools and probably all around the community. And I know Ashley from the traffic team is quite keen to have a look at it as well and share that around. The messages, we're trying to portray the reality, but also positive messaging is kind of the key behind it. Yeah. I'm really excited to see it. The kids have been working really hard, so
yeah,
it's going to be cool. We send a draft tomorrow. So.
Fantastic. And the point is that they're just highlighting the bad behaviour of some of mainly parents, shall we, around schools, and that no matter what we do, I guess as a council, to mitigate that, it's really up to responsibility of the parents' behaviour. So hopefully it's an educative thing. Is that the kind of a purpose? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Thanks.
Okay. Anything else?
So I had my hand up and it's flicked away again. I'm first of all a comment. I'm really pleased to see that we've put down our board submission.
Yes.
And it's going to be of use going forward. I have a question that the heritage plan change has gone through, plan change 13. Does that go to a hearings panel, Matthew? I presume it does.
It's going out for notification, Helen. It hasn't been notified as yet. The early indication was that it would be notified this Friday, but I haven't got confirmation on that as yet.
And does it mean that we've got a hearings panel in front of us?
It means we've got a meeting next week.
Possibly, depends what comes out of the feedback.
We might
Yeah.
we might have a submissions committee meeting next week as well, maybe.
Well, we've got them penciled in Monday and Friday. Helen, pencil in next Monday and Friday, but you should always really have those dates.
Yeah, and the interesting thing I've discovered is that in heritage, which we've emphasised, that we've taken a much more rigid approach than Hamilton. And I've asked, and John Higgins has said they had different criteria. So I said, can I have those criteria? And it was sent to me, but I can't open it. So I've had to go back and say,
okay.
Yes,
What we've got before us here,
what I'm trying to say is we have to actually probably be more liberal on criteria if we want to say.
We'll talk about that at the submissions committee, Helen.
Yeah, but it's interesting.
26th.
26th. Just pop a call back. Yep.
Oh.
No, that was the end. That's just an informal, so that'll be moved to the.
Okay. So still work to come anyway, Helen.
Committee meeting is the 30th.
Yes, I know, but the informal, that's it.
Anyway, we'll be able to sort that out offline.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
So we
So is it any-
You've got Anne's question.
I've got another question.
Oh, Anne's got another
Sorry.
question?
I
Yes,
do.
on the area report.
Just
Thank you.
thinking about the graffiti and the graffiti team. It's amazing work that's being done. How do people get involved in being a volunteer? Is it advertised, or do they approach council, or how does it work?
For removal of it.
No, for being a volunteer to be involved in removing. Yeah, removal.
You contact the graffiti. Yeah.
So my understanding is there are people out actually removing the graffiti. So I'm wondering how people get involved in that program.
Yeah, so what tends to happen is if people are doing it by themselves, very often they will contact us and say, there's some graffiti, I've been removing it. And then the graffiti team will go out and talk to them and supply them with the resources to do it. Equally, the information is up on the website and people can come in and do it. Yeah, you will have met
Contact Belinda Barrett Walker. Who's lovely. She'll sort it for you, trust me.
Yeah. So the general community knows if they want, they know how to do that. They just go online or.
Yeah, they should be able to. And if they search graffiti, they'll certainly come across it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And if they've ever interacted with us and said, "There's this," Belinda's pretty good at getting involved. Yeah,
great.
She gets a good team of volunteers as well. She kits up with fluoro jacket and and they go out and remove it.
It's great. It's a great service.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, so is there anything else on the area report? Well, if we
Staff
move,
recommendation, get a move on.
the staff recommendation that we received the report.
Mike and Debbie.
Yeah. So there's been some questions. So if there's no further discussion, I'll put the motion in. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Is there any? Carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now we move into the next exciting part on our agenda is the valedictory, and then we'll finish up with the elected members' information exchange. So the speaking order is Anne.
Oh. Okay. Well, do we stand, or this is the first time I've done this? What's the process?
Well, I haven't done one before either. So.
Your valedictory.
However you feel comfortable.
It's entirely up to you. I expect Mr. Moore will stand.
I think I'll stand if it's all right. Yeah, but
you can do it.
Do you like me to take a photo?
No, you don't need to take a photo. Tēnā koutou katoa, ngā mihi nui kia koutou. I have a joke, and I have told it before, but it is a good one. So a kid comes to his dad and says, "I want to be in politics when I grow up." And the dad says, "Are you insane? Have you completely lost your mind? Are you a moron?" And the child says, "Forget it. There seems to be too many requirements." So I knew very little about this role when I came into it, when I was invited to run for election, and except that the people I knew that were involved were people who were concerned about the community and wanted to get things done. And I was impressed by that. And it's been a wee bit like a Rubik's Cube. You know how you're trying to get the colours together? That first 3 years was a wee bit like that. And these last 3 years have been a lot more being able to get things done, which has been great. So some of the highlights, I think, for me, building a social infrastructure out in Halswell. Halswell was a new ward. I was a new councillor to that role, and building connections between different cultural groups, getting the Halswell hub strengthened and up and running, getting the student council going. That's young people getting involved in civics and local decision making and seeing that they can make a difference. The videos that we talked about earlier is an example of that. Helping residents to navigate council processes and getting solutions to problems has been really gratifying as well. But obviously couldn't do that without the wonderful staff here. So thank you. Noella's not here, but Faye, Matt, Sam, Bailey, and before you, of course, Cindy and Peter, who are here. I don't think I've forgotten anyone, have I? So thank you. Without you, I couldn't have done this job. I know that it's sort of a symbiotic relationship because as elected members, we make the decisions, but you've got to actually help to make those come to fruition. So really appreciate being able to work with you. And there was a quote that I think I used when I was running in my campaign. It's about old people. A society grows strong when old people plant trees whose shade they will never sit under. And that's about legacy. That's about doing things that you know are going to bring advantage to future generations. And I think, I hope that I've done some of that in this role. But really, when I think about legacy, I think about Jimmy, and I think about Mike, and I think about the combined what, 40 years that you two have put into this, into these.
Longer than that.
Yeah. So around, yeah. And we really appreciate the work that you've done. I thought about the Queen and her funeral, and I thought about the wonderful words that the Archbishop of Canterbury said about serving, and I've actually got it written down here, but I've lost it, I think. Where is it? Sorry. It was about serving and how the Queen has been a servant to her people, and she has also been a leader, and it's not often that you get a leader who is also a servant. And those are the people that are remembered. You know, it's and I hope and I know that all of us here are here to serve our communities. And I really want to just acknowledge that and thank all of you for what you've done to make this community a stronger and better one. So it is with sadness that I leave, but I'm also extremely grateful for the opportunity to have worked alongside you. So thank you, and all the very best for you who are doing the hard mahi with campaigning. It's tough, and I hope it all goes well tonight for you who are involved. So, kia ora.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next one on our list is my brother Jimmy Chen.
Okay, thank you. Also, I'm here or still here?
Up to you.
Face everyone. Maybe here is better.
It's up to you,
okay?
brother. You please yourself. What
I can face everyone. Okay.
Yeah.
I have been a community board for 15 years. I'm in the community board and the council, but councillor also community board. So between the 2007 to 2016, 9 years, I'm the Riccarton community board member. That's a big award. Riccarton, Wigan covered the Hornby and the Halswell, so it's three. But 2016 up to now, I'm the Hornby community board member, but also the council. However, you can see that today, the community board meeting, we're dealing with all those issues. Actually cover Riccarton, Hornby, and the Halswell. So even our ward is small. How we dealing the issues still is wide issue. We concern every kind of people, your deputation or your concern or kind of issues. That's the first one. Second, I would like to take this opportunity still to express my sincere appreciation to those my constituents. They voting for me to be a community board member, because if they are not voting for me, it's impossible for me, have opportunity to serving the people. That's most important. And one aspect, I thought I'm very lucky because 5 times, I never fail. So people probably still like me, support. I'm very lucky.
Of course they do, Jimmy.
But appreciate, that's very important, because while people give you opportunity, you still need to do your best. So my philosophy is commitment. And this commitment is a long-term commitment, dedication, and also would like to in response to the people's request, no matter through the submission or through the deputation. The other one is community board, particularly in the first 3 years, 2007 and 10. I still remember 1-page meeting agenda, it takes me about 1.5 hours. But maybe now, maybe 2 minutes I can go through. Why? Quite a few terms. I need to check the English and the Chinese dictionary, what they mean, Let's pay the bigger the price, because you are English as your mother tongue. But to me, the English is my second language. I have to overcome those barriers. That's the difference. But a community board member actually is grassroots. Grassroots elected members. You can see all dealing with this issue, no matter the flooding issue, gutter issue, traffic, parking issue, all those ones. In our daily basis, our daily life, people have this concern. That's very practical, very practical. So also give me opportunity
to engage so many community, so many the people actually enlarge my capacity, broaden my view. So this give me the, to opportunity. So I do appreciate it. And also community board members a good foundation, because I've been the community board member of 3 years. Then I come the counselor, from one stage to the other stage, So this is a good foundation, and also it's very good the grassroots. But now I would like to particularly, to appreciate kind of a different category of good people. The first one is all the elected members. Mike Moore, you can see, his long-term commitment, long-term dedication, serving this community people for 30 years. But I'm 15 years. I thought it's long enough. But 30 is double for me. That's amazing. I would like to say amazing. If no this long-term commitment, this is impossible. Also have a better half, long-term support. If no your support, it's impossible for Mike, to done an excellent job. I also very impressed with the leadership, and chairing all those meetings so smoothly. Even sometimes have argued, but no one is perfect. No one is perfect. We are all human beings, And also my fellow elected members, each one, have their advantage, have their skills, knowledge. My personal respect each one. Because while you from a wide angle, we can make this decision or recommendation will be the benefit to the community board, to the people. I don't think so. One man can cover everything. I don't think so. No. Should be the group. That's important. So I appreciate everyone. And also particularly the current each one. Maybe I don't need to describe each one. You're the particular. I also remember Judy Kerr, yes, Ishwa Ganda, yes, and also some of the Bob Sharon, also base stand. Yeah, all those former community board member also give me the they are the good model for me to learn from them, because each one they have an advantage we can learn. The other one is a particular staff, the Matthew, Faye, and Sam, Bailey, and also the Marie. And I'm so happy also I see the Peter in here. He worked in the council. I was almost 50 years, am I right? It's a very good model for us. 50 years. Probably the
50.
Yeah. But I believe Peter will be live longer 100 years, no problem.
Oh, yeah.
But 50 years, still, lifelong serving this people. Maybe also the Cindy. I probably visit your house probably 3 times. Am I right? Yeah. Hey, you can see that they kind of the spirit, they're serving, also, I do appreciate those ones, and also I'm quite happy, compared to 10 years ago, the community board, we play more the important role. Before, community board like make a deputation or submission to council. I think council just make decision by their own. But now you can see community board, when you make the deputation or submission to council, every council, and probably you agree with me, we take a community board, the deputation and the submission seriously, particular long-term plan, the annual plan, and some of the policy, etc. You can see quite a few examples, we put is high priority. Also give the community, individual, respect the community board, because we are grassroots, those the entity, even under the bigger umbrella of the council. So this we should be proud we are the community board, the member. Also, it's you can see recent years, like I mentioned earlier, I'm very happy. You can see all the community board award or user award. Now we are more diverse. We recognize no matter what your background, your skin, your language, or the tradition, we recognize whether you contribute to this community. I'm so happy recent years, more and more diverse to be recognized, by our community. That's very, very good the situation. It means we embrace all kinds of the people. That's most important. So last but not least, I know the some Mike, me, and then the end. You will not stand forget, but we still wish every the community member you put your name continually. Then don't forget your commitment, your promise to the community. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
Well done, Jimmy. Very well done.
Thank you.
Cindy, keep calm and don't lose your head. That's what I got from staff to put in front of me at meetings, because sometimes I would get a bit frustrated with the system. But anyway, it was a lot easier 30 years ago when I first got on the community board to do the job. Things were a lot more relaxed. And that was before, because we were just going from the old Paparoa County councils and the other councils, all amalgamation. So then they decided to to amalgamate everything, and they took the staff out of our offices, out of our boardrooms, where we could go and walk in and talk to people. That got centralised, and that made it more difficult. And then, of course, security's got a hell of a lot stricter as well. So we would happen without their very expensive process of going through all these layers of bureaucracy. So anyway, we do need to be open and honest and transparent, but there must be, I think we've got to be a bit more relaxed about how our relationship with staff works. And to get things done, we do have to have staff support as well. And that's something that, from community boards staff, they've probably got the hardest job of the lot, because they're actually dealing with us every day of the week, and the workload comes from us to them, and then they've got to battle through the bureaucracy. And over the years as well, that's got harder and harder and harder. So when we're ringing up staff all the time in our community board area to deal with that, they're doing their best, because we're banging our heads against a brick wall. They are as well. Now the sandwich in the middle. So we've got to feel sorry for and appreciate the work that we get done at that level. So as been mentioned before, one person alone can't achieve anything. Well, in some cases you can, because I just thought of a few then about the Blenheim Road deviation. That was something that staff said, oh, no, that can't happen, sort of thing, because I'm not a traffic engineer. But anyway, after 4 years of battling away and bringing up more pluses than minuses, we actually got that done. And the other one, I think, was when I picked up the council order paper, and in the order paper was to lift the designation on the Southern Motorway, because this was after amalgamation, and the new council thought that it would we'll take that designation off that's been in place for 20 odd years, and we'll have a look, there might be a better route than that. So Alan Dunlop was the service centre manager at the time. I alerted him. I said, let him know I'm coming into the council building, hopped in the car, went in there with that. Gary Moore was the mayor at the time, and I'm going around the council table and it's in full swing saying, don't vote, don't. And he was going to throw me out of the meeting. But anyway, what it did was it got them to reconsider the concept of lifting that designation. They thought, well, no, we'll leave it in place and we'll just see if it can work. And just thinking about that is saved the Southern Arterial Motorway. And of course, since then we've had the earthquakes and stuff like that. So there's been a hell of a lot of expansion out and around our area. So that's some things that you can do by yourself if you're determined enough. But the other thing I just want to say as well is about managing your other life with community board, because it's not a full-time job. And yes, that's been a bit of a challenge at times, especially when you're working shift work and on call. When I was doing security, of course, I had to let the firm know when my meetings were, so they'd have somebody else come and take over for me so I could go to meetings. And they wanted me there, but they had to have that flexibility that you couldn't always get. And then and working for police as well, you know, on call. And you know, as well as rostered on, of course, done a lot of work for them during the earthquakes, and they've got the medal as well. So that was a busy time for me during the earthquakes, working with police very, very closely, and actually running the police station there at one stage. Everybody that came in and out had to go past me. But that was good. And I've also worked in the youth justice facilities out at Rolleston as well, part-time. So doing that and balancing your community board work is, you know, that's been a juggle. And sometimes I just get home from shift, get into bed, and then the phone would go again, and, you know, you know, all of that sort of stuff. And the Port Hills fires and stuff like that, getting them out of bed in the middle of the night and going to the T.R. Pearl Halswell Centre to try and sort out some issues they had with the centre at the time. But anyway, stuff like that. And it's been hard on the family, or families, really, because Cheryl's my second wife that's been on this journey with me as well. So, and it does, the family have suffered, and so have I, actually. But yes, so there's a lot of positive things, and really there are. And we, you know, the simple things that we've got done, really, like the Halswell, the new Te Hapua Centre at Halswell, that sort of stuff, that wasn't around in my days earlier at all. But that came from our community board through the system when we got it. Same with the new Hornby one now. It's there. We've got it.
And the Halswell domain.
Sorry?
And the Halswell domain.
Oh yes, that's right. That's something I was very involved in at the time too. Yeah. It was the combined sports clubs, getting them all together and saying, hey, listen, they want to develop right around the Halswell domain. What are your needs? And their needs come back and said, well, we need 15 hectares of 15, you know, 8 hectares of land. So we motivated them to actually, you know, object to the plans for further subdivision. We wanted 15, we got 11. So we've actually achieved quite a lot around the Halswell domain. That wouldn't have happened either if it wasn't for our community board and perhaps my foresight as well.
Thank you.
And but anyway, there's other battles that that I definitely want to bring up, and that's one that when the community have got issues and they're working with staff to get those issues sorted out, and they can't, and developers come along and there's a consent granted. Right, the consent gets granted, and we were all happy with the consent when it was granted. 2 developers done it really well. Another developer goes off and gets variation after variation after variation after variation of their consent, all non-notified. So that the 2 previous property developers have got they got an advantage anyway, because they got theirs done and they've got it done right. But the other ones went through all these variations, and our community board and with the help of others, external consultants, had to get traffic engineers in there, and the council staff had allowed these roads to be built, for goodness sake, and they did not comply with the New Zealand infrastructure standards or the City Council's infrastructure standards. So we had to get a QC from Dr. Royd in Somerville from down south to come in and work with staff to try and how the hell can we sort this out? We told the staff 30 months before that it was wrong. Did they listen? No. So anyway, and there's people in that subdivision now, 12 years further on, that are still suffering. One of them sitting in here with us today. Now, you know, you hear about people who mistreat animals. This is going to be a bit harsh. People that mistreat animals get prosecuted. Sometimes they get put in jail. But this organisation can treat human beings and ratepayers and property owners and get away with it. They can ruin their lives. That's so cruel. And I think what the City Council should set up another organisation called the SPCTH, the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Humans. And I think there's going to be something in the media as well, because there's been another staff survey done within the organisation as well. That's come out a bit like Peter Broch's report, the Ombudsman's report. That the top level of the organisation is failing. So that's one thing that I think everybody was probably not expecting me not to present that today, because it's not only been hard on them, it's been hard on us, it's been hard on me, and it's been hard on our community board as well. When we ask for a meeting with staff, our community board make the recommendation, pass it to council, and council say, no, don't want to talk to you. You can talk to whoever you like. We get down, the CEO from local government New Zealand comes down here. Those people come down here, they look at the problem, talk to us, and know that we are right and that organisation's wrong, but local government New Zealand cannot tell a local authority how to do their job. And when we've got enforcement staff who won't enforce conditions of a resource consent, that is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. So you've got laws, you've got rules. When you break them, there's consequences. But no, not in this organisation. No. So that's something that really needs to be sorted out. But the other thing I just want to say as well is satisfaction of being on the community board. After the earthquakes, there was a district plan review. And Helen Broughton and I took that challenge on behalf of our community board, and we were there day after day after day at the hearings and then on the district plan review, and we were listened to, believe it or not. We were involved in negotiations and stuff like that, but I think it was really, really good that we had the opportunity from a community board level to actually get involved in that process, and thank God we did. And thank God we made the changes and the recommendations to that panel that we did. Otherwise, Halswell would be. Anyway, we've got a lot more stormwater retention. But anyway, I'd just like to also thank the mentors that I've had along the way. And yes, I can remember having one community board advisor, I won't mention the name. And she said to me, my advice is, and I said, Madam Principal Board Advisor, with respect, when I want your advice, I will ask for it. So, anyway, I can be a bit like that. But anyway, that's just the way it is. But there's a lot of staff around that know who Mike Moore is and what makes him tick. And it's those staff that I would like to really thank and say, I'm not the easiest person to get along with, but if we can work together, and those staff know who they are, and we can work together. And Cindy, you're one. Peter Dow, you're one. Yvonne Palmer, you're another one that I've dealt with as a community board, and how much we achieved for Christchurch, actually, and New Zealand. In New Zealand, yes, working together as a team for the good of the community and for the good of the organisations like Canterbury Neighbourhood Support, New Zealand Neighbourhood Support, all those, and the Community Board's Executive Committee on Local Government New Zealand. So anyway, it's been a long journey. I've got no regrets, but I'd just like to thank everybody that's been on my journey with me for those 30 years. And because you can't do it on your own. and you've got to have people working with you. And I'd just like to thank the supporters out there who keep going and ticking my name on the ballot box for
How many years?
30 years. Yeah, I couldn't do it without them either. So thanks very much, everybody. And I will do my best to enjoy my retirement. And good luck to everybody that takes over the challenges that we have for the city going forward. I hope we can get them all sorted out. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay.
It's been a pleasure. Not always a pleasure, but anyway, it's a funny thing. Yes, when I was at school, being brought up Catholic, they used to say about the vocations, you know, you might get a calling to be a priest or a brother. And anyway, I used to pray that I didn't get that calling because that's not what I didn't want to do. But anyway, I think my calling was what I've been doing for the last 30 years, and prior to that, actually, before I was even elected member, working for the community, working in the community, for the community. Yep.
Are we in information exchange now?
Yes, we are.
Now.
Can I?
Information exchange, yes, and I'd just like to, yeah, I'll be quite quick.
Can I just speak rather than share?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I was going to start it off, Debbie.
Oh, were you?
Yes, to saying I've been to be able to attend the Community Development Network Trust meeting at an annual luncheon today. They've been going for 26 years, and that's something that came out of local government as well back in the day, when we used to have meetings with the Canterbury Youth Workers Collectives, didn't we? And to see that those organisations have got themselves together and formed this trust now, and Yvonne Palmer sitting there nodding and Peter Dow, and that's something that the community boards actually planted the seeds with back in the day, and that's been going for 26 years now, and it's gone from strength to strength to strength, and they're doing really, really, really good job. So that was a pleasure. And yes, I was going to mention got concerns about the demolition of 151, 153 Gilverthorpe's Road as well. So I did ask staff whether there's insurance on those buildings, and if so, why couldn't they cover the repairs rather than the demolition? So really, that's probably it for me for now. Who's next?
Me.
Yep, Debbie.
Yeah, I just really want to take the opportunity to thank, obviously, the staff. I've been here 9 years and sometimes don't get the opportunity to thank you. So, and especially when I was first, I think Cindy and Peter was my initiation. So thank you very much for all your hard work. You've been a calming presence for us at times when we've needed it. And I also just want to thank those that are leaving. Well, not leaving, they're just not standing. So thank you, Anne, for everything that you have done for Horswell. And you've been contactable, you know, you've been open to being contacted, which is fantastic. And for Uncle Jimmy, thank you for all that you have done as well.
We are friends.
Yes,
we are. Not uncle, I'm not. Otherwise, too old.
Otherwise, too old. And of course, Mike, being my uncle, I know that we haven't seen eye to eye at times, but I know that you really have the heart of community at the depth of your soul, and I've learned a lot from you.
Thank you.
So thank you for all you've done, and I'm sure it's not going to stop now anyway. I think you'll continue on. So thank you, and thank you, Faye and Matthew, as well, and my colleagues around the table. It's been great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, that was a nice information exchange.
Well, I did say it's not an exchange, it's more of a thing.
Okay, anybody else got any information they wish to exchange?
Yes, thank you. Faye, I've actually sent you some photos, and you may not just now. I don't know if you can put them up or not, but at the end of Bronco Drive, where the reserve goes along, there's the river bed, and it's been full with all the rain that we've had. It's actually not draining at all, and it's becoming quite stagnant. And I'm just wondering if there is. So there's some pictures up there. It's beginning to smell. So it feels like there's there's something blocking it. So there's a few more pictures there too. So if we could possibly get some advice on what's happening with that. It could just be a high water table.
That's it.
Yeah, but it just has been sitting at about the same level for a long time. Yeah. Yep. So there's a few other.
Have you got any Kura in there?
I don't think it's pretty manky. I don't think there's much in there at all, really. There's a few ducks, but yeah, that's so it's just not looking great. Yeah. So thanks. I appreciate it.
Does it flood around there?
It has, yeah. You can see there's
you
a
go.
pathway through Broken Ridge.
Wow.
So yeah, and that's still sitting there. That's been a wee while since we've had that heavy rain. So I think it.
Yeah, I think so. We'll get someone to check that.
It would be great. There could be a package somewhere. Yeah, great.
Is there anything else?
Last job.
One of them.
Mark?
Yeah, 1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to thank you for all your service. 30 years is extraordinary. And thank Jimmy for his 15 years as well. And it's been an honour and heart. And I think we've done a lot in those 3 years. And it's going to be interesting, and it's going to be a pleasure to see you post your retirement and see how you can keep yourself involved. It's going to be fascinating to watch. So I'm sure you won't step out and not be involved any longer. So thank you. Then moving on to some genuine information exchange. Boy racing is an ongoing issue, and I know we've spoken about it a number of times. Through the campaign, I've had discussions with a number of residents around it, and I'm continually reinforcing to them, look, as it happens, while it's happening, please phone 111. And it amazes me how many people don't understand that that is a correct route and that they can do that in safety. There's no risk in reporting it, but it does help the police try and overcome it. So for anyone who happens to watch this video later, please take that advice and phone 111 while it's happening. And even if you can take photographs of the evidence of it and then get that into the police through 105 or online, that will help the police with what's going on. It's great to see the Branston Park upgrade happening. So thank you to staff for getting that on the go. There has been a few comments around the community as I've been out and about around the proximity of some of the equipment to the boundary on the road. Particularly the one that sort of sticks in people's minds is the slide, is pointing at the road, and it's only a few metres from the road boundary. So whether that's something at this stage of construction we might be able to perhaps talk to the team about and see if that's something we can look at reviewing sooner rather than later to perhaps make sure that doesn't become a huge problem going forward. It'd be a shame to see that not dealt to. Pleased to hear Mike bring up Gilberthorpe's Road, because that's a huge point in our community. And I have asked some advice from staff via email on how much of this information that we've had given to us can we share with the community, whether the community have been updated with the prospective demolition of one of the wings, and then also the plan going forward with the expressions of interest. And questions coming from the community as to how is that expressions of interest going to be notified to them, and how are they going to be involved with that? So there's certainly some genuine questions coming out of the community on that. If there's an opportunity to communicate that to the likes of Satali, it will be activated. I think that would be really wonderful.
So we've spoken to members of the community and talked to them through what we're anticipating. Once we get the dates for the expressions of interest, we'll go out and we'll speak to them. We'll notify it. We'll make sure everybody knows. The team was speaking to a trust who are particularly interested. They'd like to fly somebody down from Auckland to look at the building. So we're well aware there's lots of interest. We're lining all of that up.
Yeah. Okay, very good. It's good to hear there is some action around that. And on, I guess, community matters, Hornby Community Care Trust. If people can be aware that they're running an online survey at the moment for potential uses for the old Hornby Library and what people in the community might foresee in that. So people can be aware of that and put in their information to that survey. It will all be very, very helpful going forward to plan that for the community as that gets taken over next year. Next one on my little list here is the Hornby High basketball team did extremely well and getting to the Nationals. And there is an invitational game this Thursday at the Hornby High School gym, which I believe I've been roped into playing, which will be interesting to watch. Yeah, I'll be very careful. With my dodgy shoulder, that could be an interesting affair. But yeah, we've got the likes of Rotary involved and other first aid. Hope involved as well. So please, if you can come along and support that invitational game, please do.
When is it?
Thursday, 6 p.m. at Hornby High School.
This Thursday.
This Thursday. Yeah, because the reason they're doing it so quickly is because they've got to go to the Nationals early next month, so they've got to get funding really quickly. And I believe they're probably working with Bailey and the team to look at an application there. So, yeah, that's probably pretty much about it. I mean, the other thing is just, good luck to the next board. There's a number of issues that we're passing the baton on. Waterloo, Gilberthorpe's Parker intersection is one of those. So enjoy that as it lands at the board. Please, let's make sure the next board gets the opportunity to, proceed with that sooner rather than later. There's the ongoing thoughts with Amy's Road, of course. We'll make sure that gets sorted out someday in the not too distant future. One of the things that comes to mind there is school crossing. The school there is quite interested in the idea of trying to find a solution for safely getting their kids across that extremely busy road. Yeah. And I'm sure that's one that the transport team will be working with going forward. And of course, there's also the missing links around Hornby that we've put across this table too many times already. Yeah. And we just want to get some of those missing links fixed. I think a Countdown is a classic one where there's no footpath to get from the Mitre 10 side to the hub. So, okay, thanks for that. That's my outgoing. Okay. We've got Helen and Gamal as well.
We need to leave though. Can I just have one quick question?
Yep.
Just one quick question. I did follow. I had a couple of residents speak to me both on the same day, and I have mentioned it in the past that the Snap Send Solve a lot of the time doesn't work, and so they get very frustrated. Then they forward it to me. I forward it on and get a reply with an action within 24 hours. So I'm just wondering if there's any way that we can investigate the comms centre to have more, and sometimes they get told that it's been actioned and it never has been. So that can become quite frustrating. Is there any way that we can investigate why this is happening? It happens on a regular basis, not just a one-off. And that's in my experience as well.
Okay.
Yep.
Thanks. Okay. Andre?
Yeah, I'll just also thank everyone for their support, staff, colleagues, so on. I came onto the sport in a first term, having no idea what I was doing. By the time you get the hang of it, the term ends. Just one last issue.
Hang of it.
Yeah, well,
after 9.
Still, just one issue I will raise is condition of Quaves Road and Marshes Road, which are really problematic at the moment. They're not safe. They're not safe at all. They're full of potholes. I understand that there's work in Quaves Road in the long-term plan in years to come, but between now and then, yeah, I worry about the safety along Quaves Road. Really do worry. So residents are continuing to report potholes along Quaves Road, but it's a pretty big issue. And I know Anne, you'd followed this one up not too long ago as well. So I'd like to table it here. Yeah. It's the last issue I ever table. It is this one.
Okay. Marshes Road actually too, it'd be good to just take a note of that. There's been some work done on traffic density coming through there now, especially big trucks, but I believe they've taken some surveys of the traffic, but nothing much more has happened, and I think the residents would appreciate a bit of an update on what's happening there. Thank you. Marshes Road.
Good.
100%.
Yep.
Okay, so we've got Helen and Gamal. Gamal, you want to?
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Mike. I just wanted to reiterate what the colleagues just have said. That thank you, Mike. A big thank you to you and Galloway and Brother Jimmy. Thank you very much for your hard work. I enjoyed working with you in the past 3 years. Last night also we had the farewell party for our mayor, Layan Dazil, and with lots of people from ethnic communities attended. And you are great people and you are going. And I don't think that you will be replaced easily in the council. I'm used to jokes of Mike. And whenever I see him, I laugh from my heart. I wish you good luck with the next journey in your life. I would like also to talk about issues in Riccarton. Last time I raised the safety and issue in Riccarton Mall, Westfield Mall, and the bus exchange. And still residents are talking about this. And also the latest, it was in the news about Riccarton High School, Boys High, with the students from there. They get targeted because of the uniform in the mall. And also lots of incidents of theft around Riccarton, with people putting on Riccarton Facebooks and pages. People try to pretend that they are looking for money to ride the bus and checking cars and checking houses, and it's a real it's a concern for me, and lots of people are talking about this in around Riccarton. And the last thing is the Tatara Street, as Helen said, is also we need to look at this issue to solve it, and where residents are not able to drive their cars because two sides they have, especially with those people from the university coming to park in there from the other end, Clyde Road. And that's from me today. And I just wondered also, how are we going to connect when we put our computers tomorrow? How are we going to connect with the staff and the rest of the team for the next 2 weeks or so?
Good question.
So I'll answer that quickly. So the request is that we get your devices back before the end of the term, so before the 8th of October. So you're welcome to keep them up until the Friday. But if you don't need to physically use the device, you can keep them. You can still check the webmail, so your email addresses won't get closed. So you can still go in and you can do it that way. If you still need to use your device, keep it up until the 7th. Beauty.
Just Gamal, I just want to add to that. Cheryl will back me up. I went and done some undercover work at the Riccarton Mall on Sunday. I was there for about 2.5 hours.
Ah, I see.
Until I thought they saw me too often and started to twig that I might have been, spying on them. Helen, you've got your hand up. Helen? No, she's muttered herself.
Going forward with that mall situation in the Central City, the council with the Central City Business Association actually fund some workers through the Central City Mission to actually go around and do a bit of welfare and checking on them. Is there any opportunity for that to happen with the businesses in Westfield?
There is a couple of homeless people that are in that area, but the problems are young people in there, young. And I talked to the CDN Trust at lunchtime today. And they're actually onto it now. They've been going in there and talking to the young people as well.
Right, that's excellent.
Yeah.
So that it could be in the future that the board could co-fund some staff of some description, either, through CDN along with the council, to do a joint thing to get people like that on the floor, sort of looking out for people that can help.
Well, maybe I go in there and sort them out.
Think about someone that be useful.
Anyway, any further information we wish to exchange?
Helen.
Well, Helen's, she's jabbering away here furiously. but
Helen,
she's-
you need to unmute yourself.
No,
She's gone. Didn't see.
must be the tablet she's taking. Tablet. Okay, declare the meeting closed. Thank you very much,
Thank you.
everybody, for your
Well
patience,
done,
your
well done.
endurance and your understanding of each other's points of view.
Thank you.
And wishing everybody a good election campaign and a good result. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Kia ora.
Well done. Well done.